In 2014, our goal was to educate and inspire the next generation of young Black leaders. Today, we are in search of the best to reveal the secrets to success. Our belief is that we should teach the young early the things that we learn late. Our lives are shifting the culture. Our lives are changing the narrative. These are the ShineHard conversations. Welcome to a new season of the ShineHard conversation. I'm your host, Johnny Bailey, and this week I'm in Washington, D.C. with tech executive Mitch Brooks. Mitch is currently the COO of DC-based tech company DSi and the founder of the Urbane group, which has allowed him to work strategically with companies like BMW, Porsche, and the Kimpton Hotels. Today, Mitch is going to talk about navigating the journey to become an African-American tech executive and share some of the keys to his entrepreneurial success. So, without further ado, Mitch, it's time to shine.
Let's do it.
A lot of people see where you are. You sit on panels, you do speaking events, you're on social media, and they see where you are. But a lot of times people don't really know how you got there and how it all began. So tell us more about your childhood and what growing up was like for you.
Fifth generation Washingtonian. Grew up in Washington, D.C. and Southeast off Martin Luther King Avenue. And I think that at a young age, it allowed me to see a lot, experience a lot, and it really shaped the demeanor that I have today, how I go about life, how I go about
DC in the
business. 80s. Yeah, say no more. DC in the 80s and in the 90s.
Yeah, so when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah, good question, man. I wanted to be a basketball player, right? So I was pretty good at basketball. And so every day in elementary school, my dad would drive me to school and I would want to read the newspaper. And he would let me have the sports section. Even though he really wanted it, he would let me have it. And what he would tell me is he would say, in addition to taking the sports section, you need to take something else and you need to tell me what you read when you get home. And so with the Washington Post, the business section is right after the sports section. And so every day I would take the sports section and the business section as a convenience, not even thinking about it. And I would read the sports section as like a little kid. I would finish it, pass it on to my friends. And then I had this business section in front of me. And it would amaze me as a kid to see like Michael Jordan signs for $25 million for, 5 years. And then I would like read the stock tickers, and I taught myself how to read the stock tickers as an elementary school kid. And I would see something like the Chicago Bulls owner makes $500 million. And I think at that very young age, like it didn't take much to understand the mathematics behind that.
Ownership.
Right. So I always had in my head, even if I would play ball at a high level, that it was always going to be about stacking my paper to make moves to be a business
on some
owner.
Magic Johnson type stuff. Like
exactly.
Throw a no-look pass and then catch a bag on the other side. So let's fast forward a little bit to what you're doing now. You're coming in here suited and booted. So you're obviously killing it as a tech executive. Talk about what it means to be COO of DSi and what DSi does.
Yeah, man. So I am the chief operating officer at the company. And what that means is I oversee day-to-day operations.
Right.
And so, from every department, everyone that's in personnel, I'm sort of pointing and directing them and how we can run at the most profitable level.
Right. Because you guys made, what, 40 million revenue last year or something like that?
Over the past 4.
Okay.
Over the past 4. So
gotcha.
I brought in the 40 million.
Nice. You also have the Urbane group, which was a huge marketing event company that you were starting as an entrepreneur. Right. Tell us a little bit more about that venture.
So I started doing events at FAMU.
Okay.
I have to like show love to Jared Nobles and my partners with the Urbane group. And doing that in college, the real of it, the bottom line is that I was in Tallahassee, Florida, and I needed money.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, look, you know, this is getting expensive. You need to get a job. You need to figure this
You
out.
need to hustle, bro.
You need to figure something out. And so parties is what I got into. I pulled to the side Jared Nobles, and he pulled to the side one or two others. And we got into parties, and it was very, very successful. And so from that, I moved back to DC shortly after college. And when I moved back to DC, a lot of my classmates and friends and other folks that moved from Florida and Atlanta was like, yo, I'm in your city. Like, where's the party?
Right,
what's the move? And I think that, you know, after a few weeks where you're directing people to different places and like you're text messaging the promoters or the owners, and it got to a point where I was like, look, let me just do something how we did it back in college.
Yeah, sometimes it's like a calling.
Yeah.
Because when you start to add value to people or you're a resource, then people begin to call you for that, and you're like, well, I need to monetize this resource, this value that I'm giving to people, and it seems like that's kind of what you guys
I like
really
how you put that. I felt like as a Washingtonian, I wanted to show people the city and what the city like looked like.
So let's take it back to how you really got started. You mentioned that you went to FAMU, and so many people that are watching this show right now are in college or fresh out of college, and they're wondering like, how do I get to my dream job? How do I work this corporate system? How do I start my business? And you know, you've navigated. So what was your first job out of college? And what did you really learn from that?
So I worked an internship.
Yeah.
And that internship parlayed to a job offer.
Yeah, what was the internship?
I interned at Caterpillar in Peoria, Illinois.
What is that?
Oh, Caterpillar is like a global, like Fortune 50 manufacturing company.
Ah, okay.
And I was working in global marketing, which was great.
That's a pretty good internship.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And that internship parlayed to a job offer, and so I took that offer with Caterpillar. But that was a tough place to live, coming from Washington D.C.
Right.
and
It's a
coming
little
from
slower pace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you know, that experience at Caterpillar was exactly what I needed, and I felt like throughout my journey, God has given me exactly what I needed when I needed it.
So on this show, I get to sit down with so many amazing influencers, industry leaders.
Yeah.
And so as I ask them, you know, questions about how they're inspiring, it's always fascinating to understand who inspires the influencers.
Okay.
So if you had to name 2 or 3 people that were on your Mount Rushmore of inspiration.
Mount Rushmore of inspiration.
Who would it be?
Mark would be up there. Mark Barnes would definitely be up there.
Well, why Mark? Why Mark? Real quick.
Mark teaches discipline. And I think that's something that a lot of folks don't have. And it's something that I thought I had until I met him.
Yeah.
Right? And so he teaches you next level discipline.
That's real.
For someone to have built an empire of alcohol and dancing, and he does not drink and he does not dance, it's quite fascinating.
Yeah, that's some discipline for sure.
Yeah.
To work in that space and not even really be affected by it that way.
That's right.
Who would be number 2?
Number 2, I really like Seth Godin. He's someone in the marketing space.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
And when I read Seth, and I've read probably 5 or so of his books, he challenges you and encourages you to think differently.
Yeah.
And he always turns my thoughts inside out to what I was thinking and how I was thinking about something. And that has spurred like some of the best creativity that I've had in the business space.
Yeah, bro. This organization, the ShineHard family, is all about closing the racial wealth gap in America. And we do that through education and inspiration. Because we believe when a young person finds their purpose, they can get closer to creating something in their family. Generational wealth, education, legacy. And it seems to me that you are definitely walking in your purpose and you found some passion in your life. So I'm really curious to know, what would you say is your passion and when did you know?
Passion and purpose. I found my passion through spirituality. About 6 or so years ago, I fasted for 6 months. It started off me saying I want to fast for 30 days. And then I was honest with myself and saying I didn't fully get what I wanted after 30 days. And then it became 60 days. And 60 days became 6 months. I felt like I figured it out. I figured out life. I figured out my purpose. I figured out my passion during that experience. It's hands down, I think, one of the most significant things I've done in my life. To walk in purpose and to really look to make a difference.
So what did you discover what your purpose was?
My purpose was to give to others. And I think for everyone that knows me, know that what I'm doing in business and what I'm doing on the entrepreneurial side and what I'm doing with my investments is ultimately to build this dope foundation and to be able to give back and to a great degree, like reallocate wealth in some small way.
Absolutely. Do you believe everyone has a dream?
I believe everyone has a gift, and I believe that everyone has this genius level that they can hit. But it's a matter of tapping into it.
What separates the people who hit that genius level and the people who don't?
Exposure. One of the reasons why I have my cousin here, I think that being exposed to great people, great thoughts, great energy. I think
shout out to our live audience, by the way.
I think it's just knowing that it's possible, man. Just being able to touch it, feel it, see it. You cannot become anything that you cannot see, like in real life. Right? And so I think exposure is one of the key ways.
So while we're on the topic of being a minority in America, there's a lot of things going on currently, being in DC, dealing with that guy who's in office, and all of the different barriers and oppressions that are going on in the community level, with police and all types of different things. Social media is a problem for people. What would you say frustrates you the most about today's culture?
People don't listen to one another. I think that's the biggest thing that frustrates me. I think it's okay to have a difference of opinion. I think it's okay for you to go down a certain path that is not in my best interest or something like that. But I think that it's powerful if you just take the time to listen, because ultimately, long term, like that voice is going to replay in your head, and at least you'll be able to take that into consideration in the future.
So, despite that, what inspires you to succeed?
The idea and the concept of generational wealth and generations behind me being in a better position than
Legacy.
me, right? Legacy. And so, if it was just for me and just for my wife, like, I would do a little bit here and there, you know what I'm saying? But the idea that I'm trying to do enough work for 10 people, and so that my kids and my kids' kids can be in a better position, and that's what inspires me, and that's what I get up every day for. That's what I hustle for.
I could definitely relate to that. For sure. We have an audience of young Black millennials of all ages, students, recent graduates, seasoned professionals that are trying to get to their next level. They want to create generational wealth, they want to foster economic empowerment, and they want to just find their purpose and succeed in life. From your experience, and you're looking back to them, maybe to your 21-year-old self, what advice would you give to the next generation of tech executives or entrepreneurs about succeeding in life?
Fail. It's okay to fail. I think at a young age we feel as though our reputation and and what we do in business, especially in a world that at my time that was growing with social media, so your failures will be public and widely known. It's really tough to step out of your box to do things that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Despite that, I would encourage my 21-year-old self to fail, because the reality is that what makes me who I am, and when it comes to business and negotiations and all of that, it's because I've had some awful experiences.
Yeah.
And so I know what not to do now.
You fail forward.
Exactly.
And it's not really a failure, it's a lesson.
Exactly. I've had mentors and business partners and colleagues along the way that had to teach me that.
Of course.
Right? That had to say, like, look, this isn't the end of the world, right? Like, you had one event or one party where you didn't get the attendance that you wanted.
Yeah.
Right? And so those folks speaking that into me and speaking that life into me made our next event like 100 times better than I even thought was possible.
Right.
Right? And the idea of, you know, creating something that's in 7 cities across the country and tens of thousands of people that like rock with you and know you and support you. Like, when I started to do events in DC and people were hitting me up, like, where should I go?
Yeah.
I didn't see 7 cities in that.
Right.
I felt like this is a DC thing, right? And I'm showing love for my city. And so what I'm getting at is failure and having a strong support system allowed me to grow that to be what it was, right?
For sure. I think failure is not the end of the road, it's just a part of the road. And I want to appreciate and thank you for being a part of our show in this part of your journey, man. It's been a great interview.
I like it.
Let everybody know how they can find you. You have a website, social media, and anything you have coming up. You know, give the people a quick plug about what you have going on.
Okay. MitchBrooks.com. I'm going to look to post more thoughts and ideas and lessons learned along the journey. But right now, I've posted a few things that I think really resonate with friends and colleagues and mentees.
You guys can find me, Johnny Bailey, at Johnny Bailey, Instagram, Twitter. You can also follow the ShineHard family at ShineHardFam. Of course, visit ShineHardFamily.org and sign up to donate. Our organization is focused on closing the wealth gap in America. We want to foster economic empowerment and transfer knowledge from professionals and leaders like Mitch to you. In order to do that, we need your contributions, we need your support. So please visit the website, make your contribution, hit me up, we can talk more about it. And remember, fail forward, fail fast, and seek your passion, because passion changes everything. Mitch, thank you, bro.
Thank you.
My guy.
Yeah.